Welcome to the Larry Kong Show. Thank you for joining me, Governor Stalin.
Well, thank you, Harry. It is my pleasure to be here live in studio with an actual talking corpse. You are the king of the zombies.
Well, thank you. Let's get down to business. You quit your job as governor. You became an idol of the neoconservative Tea Party, bowel movement. And now you appear to be a contender for the GOP nomination for president in 2012. Will you run on a platform of ending the criminal Federal Reserve System?
Why, thank you, Barry. I am quite the darling of the uninformed and the brainwashed neoconservative underclass. As far as the Federal Reserve System, that is a subject too complex for my minions. The average Tea Partier is happy with the standard rhetoric of smaller government, lower taxes, and cutting spending. The Federal Reserve is an issue for Ron Paul.
Ron Paul?
Yes, Ron Paul. He has been very vocal about them. Tea Partiers aren't concerned about the Fed. We like smaller government, lower taxes, and bigger wars.
I see. How about demanding an audit of the criminal Federal Reserve System who, according to Ron Paul and the Bernanke, has been stealing the wealth of the American people for nearly 100 years with the hidden inflation tax? You know that recently polling has demonstrated that more than 70% of the American people would like to see a full GO audit of the Federal Reserve System.
Oh, I don't know, Harry. The Tea Partiers do not care about the Federal Reserve. Do they? We want smaller government. The issue of our monetary system, quantitative easing, inflation, business cycle theory, that whole Australian economics is really better for people who like Ron Paul.
You mean Austrian? Austrian economics made popular by the groundbreaking work of Karl Menger, Ludwig von Mises, Hayek, Rothbard, and today's greats Bloch, Murphy, Williams, Woods, Rockwell. And of course, Dr. Ron Paul. Did I really just say that?
We should really talk about more important things, like the importance of electing a president who is controlled by the CFR, the corporations, and the central bankers. Central banking is a key tenet in the Communist Manifesto. The American people want and need a central bank to help them. They are very needy, you know. Ron Paul, he wants to end the Fed, abolish the IRS, and let people keep the fruits of their labor. That is antithetical to the modern American spirit, you know.
I may be a walking, talking corpse, but even I know that there is something wrong. The Federal Reserve is the enabler of congressional deficit spending. They perpetuate the welfare state, the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, and create government largesse beyond what the founders ever imagined.
Are you channeling Ron Paul?
I feel like an intelligent life form has taken over my body. Help me. End the Fed, end the wars. And Ron Paul 2012. What?
What has gotten into you, Barry? You can't be serious. You have to continue to toe the line and maintain the dumbing down of Americans. The political and financial elite are counting on you. Ron Paul is a threat to the establishment. I am different. I do not want to fundamentally change the system into what it is supposed to be. People should be happy just paying less in taxes, doing to the interests of the political class, preparing for one world government, and living in a police state.
Ron Paul even wants to get us out of the UN. He does not like international organizations and treaties that usurp U.S. sovereignty.
He what? That's crazy talk. Ron Paul never voted against the Constitution. He is so narrow-minded, Harry. All he can talk about is personal liberty, private property. He has this silly notion that we own ourselves. What is with Ron Paul?
We are getting off track. Some of the candidates that you endorsed were successful in the recent election. One of them, Senator-elect Rand Paul, the son of the baby doctor, Ron Paul, the strict constitutionalist, wants to end the Fed. He is concerned about QE2. What are your thoughts on QE2?
It is a very, very, very big ship.
Not the ship QE2. I am referring to the second round of quantitative easing. The monetizing of the U.S. debt by the criminal Federal Reserve.
Oh, that. Yes, the continual devaluation of the dollar and now this latest move by the Federal Reserve that is leading us down a path to hyperinflation. Americans and my Tea Partiers do not worry about the impending collapse of the dollar, or even the conservative estimates of a 20% devaluation in 1 to 3 years. We want lower taxes and smaller government. I will cut spending. That is my mantra. Ron Paul talks about the dollar all of the time and people think he is kooky. The Tea Party praises globalist CFR members like Newt Gingrich and Bill Kristol, Dick Cheney, and W. They keep us safe from brown people.
Yes. The brown people. They are a threat to our liberty. We are killing many overseas, in undeclared, unconstitutional wars. And we are oppressing many brown people here in the U.S. with all of our government programs that are supposed to help them. Ron Paul opposes these unconstitutional wars, nearly 1,000 military bases overseas, in over 130 countries. What is your position?
Jobs for America, Larry. Killing brown people overseas employs millions at home. We need more drones, more drone strikes, more soldiers to guard the opium in Afghanistan, and for every puppet dictator that the CIA installs we are guaranteed future military conflicts. Jobs, jobs, jobs. War is the health of the state. Ron Paul wants to bring the troops home. Who will they control and kill?
Well, let's be clear, the troops are merely following orders. If they uphold their oath and reject unconstitutional orders, they sacrifice the safety of their fellow soldiers and face possible imprisonment and court-martial. The other problem, if we bring them home, is that the surveillance apparatus here in the U.S. is nearly complete. Cameras along all of the major highways and intersections, RFID readers installed along the highways, X-ray at airports, X-ray vans deployed at the state and local level, online surveillance. They will be little work for the troops if you bring them home. Far fewer will be needed to monitor and control the American public than the brown people. Thoughts?
As I said, it is all about jobs, Barry. Ron Paul doesn't want a government-run surveillance system and cameras, complete with license plate and biometric recognition software that monitors all Americans. He thinks government should get out of our lives and private property. We need to improve and expand security at home to keep us safe from terrorists over there. You know, the American people have nothing to hide.
That is right. Speaking of nothing to hide, Obama and Biden think the American people should submit to the new enhanced TSA procedures and get irradiated or felt up by TSA agents. It is for our safety. The brown people are trying to kill us. They hate us because of our freedom. And now, they might be using little white children to smuggle explosives onto planes in their underoos, or in their baby bottles. Even breasts engorged with breast milk. A prosthesis might contain explosives. We have to strip elderly cancer survivors, and make them remove their prosthetics in the name of security. Ron Paul has introduced a bill to hold all government employees and agencies accountable under the same laws that govern the rest of Americans. It is only one paragraph long, H.R. 6416. Will you support this?
Ron Paul's bills never pass. Repeal the legal tender laws, audit the Federal Reserve, end the Fed, get out of the UN, legalize industrial hemp, raw milk, abolish the IRS, end the healthcare mandate. People are more concerned with the economy. What does someone well-educated in Australian economics know about this stuff? All like grizzlies and wolves, big corporations and reality TV. We need jobs, smaller government, and less taxes.
Mama Gristle, we are running out of time. Join us next time on the Colonel Klink Show. We will have as our guest some mainstream drone to further suppress your consciousness and not talk about Ron Paul 2012 or we won't fly.com. Thank you, Governor Stalin. Good night, America.